So initially there was a ban on surveilling people just for being part of the LGBTQ plus community, but DHS just got rid of that ban. So now people from the LGBTQ plus community can be surveilled. And, targets of what we call organized stalking already understand that surveillance has been going on all along, but now they can do it out in the open. And we're just a scapegoat, right? People in the LGBTQ plus community are a scapegoat, right? The scapegoat is, everything bad in the world is blamed on the scapegoat, right? Anger and hatred is worked up against people in the scapegoat group. That way and of course, people whose lives are falling apart are told that it's not their fault, it's the fault of the whoever is in the scapegoat group, right? So these people then will allow anything bad to be done to the people in the scapegoat group because they've been conditioned to hate them, to fear them, right? And so they allow bad things to happen to them, and they even applaud it. And these are people who usually claim to follow a God who told them that they should treat others the way they would want to be treated, and they shouldn't do unto others what they wouldn't want others to do unto you. Whatever is done to the scapegoat, so this is being done on purpose, because the scapegoat is being used so that the goddamn masses the mindless masses allow certain horrible things to be done to people. Because once it's legalized to be done to anyone, it can be done to everyone. That's what the scapegoats are being used for now. And they're taking away everything, right? Freedom, your privacy, autonomy, the right to travel. I mean, the travel bans. I mean, and first the travel bans were trying to stop pregnant women from crossing a border. Now they're trying to stop trans people from getting health care in other states. And now they're going to add more and more groups. At some point, they're going to take away Second Amendment rights. They're going to take away the right to bear arms from certain groups. And these gun-toting conservatives who thump their chest and scream about the Second Amendment and scream about how liberals are the ones who are trying to take it away, they're going to allow it. They're going to allow the Second Amendment rights to be taken away from whatever group they have been trained and conditioned to hate. And in the end, they're going to lose their own. Because, okay, a conservative Christian, no, false Christian, I'm sorry, a false Christian conservative barbarian is not going to have his Second Amendment rights taken away for being transgender or for being gay or for whatever, for being pagan, Okay, but they'll find another excuse to take it away, right? Mental illness can be used as an excuse to take freedom, and it has historically been used as an excuse to take people's freedom, to take their sovereignty, and of course to discredit them. Now they're talking about taking away certain people's Second Amendment rights. Again, the stupid barbarian, false Christians, maggots, are so stupid, they don't even understand what they're being used for. Whatever they allow to be done to others will be done to them at some point. Anyway, there's something called classical conditioning or Pavlovian conditioning, where stimuli is then connected to a certain response. So what they're looking for is for people to respond a certain way to certain stimuli. And I suggest researching this, because this is what targets of organized stalking have been going through all along, just like we've always been going through the surveillance, but now it's legalized. Now they can just surveil out in the open, certain groups. People are conditioned to feel a certain way about other groups. Sometimes it's based on lies. In fact, it's usually based on lies. But sometimes it's also based on how people in those groups behave. So what's happening with Christianity, right? No one does a better job turning people away from Christ than the people who claim to follow him, okay? Inflict pain on someone in the name of Satan, people will turn away from Satan. Inflict pain on someone in the name of Christ, people will turn away from Christ. And deep down, this is what they want, because they believe that they're the elect, and that the world will fall, and that the majority of people will fall, and that only a certain elect will be saved. And they say they want to bring people to Christ, and they say love and love and love and beauty, but they bring hatred. They say peace, but they bring war. They say love, but they bring hatred. They claim to save when they kill. They deny mercy in the name of mercy. They hurt people. They rape. They torture. They run human breeding farms. They breed little girls by force. They destroy families. They deny people medical care. They want the right to literally turn people away to discriminate, to turn them away from businesses, including medical care that has nothing to do with gender or sex or reproduction. They don't like the person, they decide they don't like the person's lifestyle, they turn them away. They can turn them away for housing, from buying groceries. I mean, this is a way for them to kill people off with plausible deniability. It is horrific what they're doing to people. And so what happens? People, because they do it in the name of God, right? And they do it in the name of Christianity. And so people then develop an aversion to Christianity. And so then these barbarians go out and they cross themselves in public, or they preach, or because what they're looking for is persecution, because they believe in the end the elect will be persecuted. So they're trying to force people to fight back, because then they can play the victim and scream persecution when they are not the victim. Nothing they're doing is of Christ. In fact, everything they say and do is the opposite. Even when they say love, they bring hatred. Okay, you understand that they do the opposite of what they say. Okay, when they say they're going to heal, what they mean is that they're going to deny all medical care until people suffer and die. That includes pregnant women, that includes actual babies, that includes people who are sick, the disabled, the elderly, because they believe suffering is merciful. They believe that's what God wants. So they call that healing, to deny mercy. So what happens? People are conditioned then to pain and suffering and death and horror. The twisted manipulation is even worse than the physical pain. And so they see a cross, or they hear the word Christian, and they have an immediate aversion to that. And the Christians themselves are doing it, and then they scream persecution. It's the sick, filthy, perverse game. And the puppet masters controlling all of this know exactly what they're doing. But these stupid, barbaric monsters do not. I mean, they're so stupid that they will literally torture and kill and take away medical care from people in the name of God. As those people cry in pain, and they say, well, this is what God wants for you. And then they say, but if you come to God, he'll heal you. I mean, it's so sick. These deranged monsters. They're creating such an aversion to anything Christian. And then they play the victim and scream persecution when they get a negative response, which they want. They want that negative response, so they can play the victim and scream persecution. This filthy, sick game, and people are dying because of it. They will torture and kill people in order to get the response they want. And if we don't, if we let them get away with something and we don't respond to it, they'll do worse and worse and worse until we have to respond for the sake of our lives. We are being conditioned against their false church. And I guess maybe that's a good thing, because it is a false church, and know them by their fruits. They bring pain, suffering, and death. All unnecessary pain, suffering, and death. The fact that people are leaving the false church now by choice, maybe, I guess that's a positive thing. That's the only positive thing coming out of this. Anyway, yeah. So now they can legally surveil the LGBTQ plus community out in the open.